On the grid here at Teretonga for their first race, and someone we've never seen before on pole.
Pole position for the youngster, a bit of pressure?
Well, I was here last weekend, but this time I earned it. So I just hope that we can have a very good race, and the boys will be nice on me.
So courtesy of the wet qualifying session yesterday and a good performance, Jason Richards on pole, ahead of defending champ Craig Baird. Teammate Brett Riley is third. Then Simon Wills hitting form in the Telstar fourth spot. Second Telstar of Kevin Pateman in fifth, and the comeback man Peter Van Brugel sixth. Good to see Simon Wills up there in the fourth spot on the grid, the picture we're getting. This is a little further back, Robbie Kerr. He holds down the eighth spot. Then, of course, the little Peugeots. This view, though, from Simon Wills as he takes down the outside of the Teretonga circuit, looking at Jason Richards on the left. Craig Baird just ahead of him. And look at Jason get the go-by from Craig Baird. Teammate doesn't muck around for long, that's for sure. Nudges in there. Well, Jason Richards holding on to the second spot. Looks like Wills has safely got into third. Well, maybe not. There goes Brett Riley. So it's a BMW 1, 2, 3 right now. And the Ford challenge that everyone was hoping for is sitting back in fourth and fifth, because Kevin Pateman in the red car is another Telstar. But a great start there from the BMW boys, Shane.
Yeah, good start from all three BMs. And you see Simon just got shuffled out a bit and onto the bit of the loose rubber on the outside of the circuit, and Brett crept through.
Well, I wondered if there was going to be anyone inside of him. Look at Brett now. He's putting the pressure on his teammate, Jason Richards, and Brett just slides down the inside. So Jason doing the decent thing, you'd have to say, leaving him a lot of space there as they headed for the hairpin that time.
Well, Craig and Brett are on a mission in this race. They're both very close in the championship. Wow, look at Simon pull out on Jason, heading up the main straight there, and he's going to attack Brett.
Now tell me that they haven't sorted out the horsepower problems in this car. Look at this. This is the car that was overheating so badly, breaking down so badly. Here we go back in the field. This is with Noddy Murdoch in the little Toyota Corona that was so dominant here last year. Not his car necessarily, but the works cars. So you can see that one's being left behind a little bit, and it's the Ford that's come to the front. Look at that. Running up there in the second spot at the moment. Craig Baird still got a decent break on him, though, but just blasted by those two Bimmers down the front straight.
Well, it's all credit to the Allport team to get the Ford Telstar up and running reliably so far, and looking at the speed that it has here.
Hey, no putting the kiss of death on these boys. Your money must be on the BMW guys. But look at this, Simon Wills. We've seen him, he actually got out and qualified third quickest at the opening round at Manfield, but thereafter the trouble struck. They ended up parking the car for a couple of meetings while Neil got on and really developed the car, got the gremlins out of it. They figured that in the end it's the dry sumping of the car that actually was meant to be a help, turned out to be a bit of a hindrance just in the way that it worked. So now they've got it sussed. They believe they have reliability. And we can see now they've certainly got the pace. Wayne Murdoch talking about pace. Jason Richards getting the go-by from him down the front straight at Teretonga.
Well, you can see that Jace really suffers with the extra weight that the 325 has to carry, with Noddy just going past like the way he did, and the same with Simon.
Well, the front drive car's really working well here. Of course, the Toyota and the little Telstar out front. Kevin Pateman, we said, he's a privateer out of Timaru, sitting back a little bit, but Peter Van Brugel just ahead of him, we can see in the back of that picture. Now, that is a sensational comeback for that Nissan. Just watching Murdoch, though, the other Timaruvian, I think they call him, and good to see him up there and running competitively. He had a bit of an indifferent time in the northern meetings early on.
Yeah, well, he also had a mixed weekend at Timaru, the rain not quite suiting the Corona, but in the races he come back, and as we saw on the coverage last weekend, he really got amongst it.
Look at this, though. Look at Wills, the power carrying him right up to Craig Baird. Can Baird do anything about it? Oh, already right alongside of him by the time they crossed the start-finish line, and there's no question about it. He could not fail to make that move. Here we go again. Look at this view. No problem whatsoever.
No, I mean, it's put the floor, and like he must be carrying an extra sort of 5, 6, 7 kilometres an hour down the end of that chute.
Unbelievable, the turn of speed out of this car. What a turnaround from the struggle. I mean, Timaru, they started to come right, and that was the signs that they thought, come Teretonga, they're going to be competitive. Simon's been wanting some really hard competition that'll toughen him up for a crack at the top British F3 Championship this coming season. And now he's getting it, because look at Baird. He's really working that BMW through the infield.
Well, these front-wheel drive cars really have some pace, Wayne, and we can see that Noddy Murdoch passed Brett Riley down the end of the long straight as well. So we may be in for an interesting contest here, and we've got Peter Van Brugel looming up behind as well.
Well, Brett Riley definitely under attack from the Nissan now, so that's a good comeback from Peter Van Brugel. The Sentra, what looked like totally written off at Timaru just a week ago when it had that crash in the first race, slammed into the earth bank sideways and definitely got the body shell heavily damaged. Also the floor pan and just about everything else on the right-hand side of the car. The guys have done a sensational job working all week at Timaru with Lionel Timmings Motors rather, and they've done a fantastic job. You would hardly notice that this car was in that terrible, terrible state just a week ago. No, even close up they've done a great job, and I understand they actually got a complete half of the car and put it all together. Simon Wills inside the TSW Telstar. This is the man at work. We're going to see him in the British F3 season this year, and I'm sure that's something you'd be a bit envious about. The boy is really doing a great job. Oh, absolutely, and full credit to Simon. He's got a good future ahead of him, and a great break to have a serious shot at the F3 Championship. Having a serious shot at Brett Riley again. This is Peter Van Brugel this time. Let's see if the Nissan has got the legs down the front straight. Trying down the inside, not a problem, because not even at the start-finish line, and he's already gone by. That's got sensational drive out of that slow left-hander onto the front straight. Yeah, this really is not a BMW suited track, a bit like Pukekohe. The front-wheel drive cars really do pour on the pace down the chute, but as you'll see, the boys will pick the time up round the back part of the circuit. Oh, just finding his way through some of the Peugeots, because of course the Peugeots having a big race of their own back in the field, and one going very, very slow. He's having a race all on his own, gets way, way off the track, which is very good of him, as Simon Wills wheels past him, ticking down the laps now and getting a little bit of a break, you'll see, on the defending champion and the man leading the championship as well, Craig Baird. Well, Craig won't be too happy about the way that these guys have just driven away from him, especially Simon, and you know, he'll be back in the pits after this race trying to find an extra bit of speed. But out front, Simon Wills doing the job as the laps tick down, really looking sensational around this track. They seem to have the car very well set up, as well as getting a lot of power. Yeah, the big wave from Neil Allport, the words just come through. That's a new lap record to Will, so the evidence is there. 67.5 second lap. Very well done, Shane. Yeah, it's a great turnaround from last year, and you can see why Neil's happy at this point in time. But hopefully Simon can just hold it together and pull it through to the flag. Running through the midfield as these guys go around some of the little Peugeots. They're just going by the 21 car of German Peter Scharmack. Peter Van Brugel rounds him up. This man, of course, leading the race quite clearly. Craig Baird dropped a little bit behind Simon Wills now. And Wills heading down the front straight. You can see him almost start to pick up the Suzuki Swift of Michael Bate. He's leading the 0 to 1600 class here in this race right now. And going past Patrick Watts, the BTC racer, who was leading the Peugeot class. There goes Noddy Murdoch. Wouldn't he like that to be in a BTC race? Going past Watts, of course, got a Peugeot deal again for this season. Yeah, it's good to see Patrick's confirmed his seat again, and he'll obviously be looking forward to a better season, hopefully like what the Telstar's doing at the moment. Someone going very slow, one of the Peugeots. That's the one I think we saw going slow earlier. Looks like he's tooling around, just trying to get to the finish line. Well, Peter Van Brugel not getting away from Brett Riley, but having made the pass, holding down that fourth spot. These three fairly stable right now. But just as I say that, through the infield, Riley really working on him. Yeah, Brett's putting a bit of pressure on Pete now, and I believe this is the last lap. And, oh, yes, a rear wheel locking up there from Pete's car. It's probably got to be expected. It's probably not brand new anymore. No, but fourth place will be fantastic out of this car. Just after its disaster last week, all he has to do is hold out Riley this last turn. Up front, though, Simon Wills going to take Ford's first win in the series in 2 years. What a great run that is, ending BMW finishing across the line first for about 10 races now. So Simon Wills takes the win ahead of Craig Baird, Wayne Murdoch and Peter Van Brugel.
Well, Simon, Paul Radisich would have been pretty happy with that win. Simon Wills must be absolutely delighted.
Oh yeah, over the moon. It was pretty tough, yeah. Craig didn't make it easy here for a bit and he stayed on, and yeah, I'm over the moon really to have this one. Yeah.
Neil Allport also looking very happy.
Oh yeah, it's been a long struggle, and like the car had its bad points and that earlier on in the season, but now I seem to have ironed them out.
Sweet reward for all that hard work.
Yeah, it's been hard work, Murray. You know, we pulled out of a couple of rounds of this championship to make sure the car was right, because we weren't sure of it at the start there. And we've worked extremely hard, and so's Simon and all my boys. We're trying to put a bit of credibility back into Ford, and I think we've done that, and bring back to this championship a car that is capable of winning it.